Florida is not cheap.
Cost of living in Florida isn't just rising, it is skyrocketing.
Everything is extremely high.
It is rough right now.
It's cheaper to rent in California than in Florida.
Man, you won't believe what these folks is paying and what they getting for what they paying. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge. Look.
You were saying that you got people living in, they're paying $1,200 a month and like damn near, they're pretty much condemned.
Yes.
How's that allowed though?
Who's gonna top it? Why would anybody in downtown West Palm Beach care what's happening in 60 miles?
And you guys have your own mayor?
They have their own mayor. They have their own mayor in Belgrade and Polk.
So what are they voting on?
Commissions. Trying to get funds from the people that won't give them to them.
Now, when somebody get their pet alligator to bite you, yeah, it ain't gonna be funny. Also, if y'all live in Florida, do people have pet alligators? Is that a real thing? Ain't they saying rent is higher in Florida than in California? Look at this.
Something I always told people is that it's cheaper to rent in California than in Florida, and people called me stupid for that. Today I can confirm with you, I am right. Florida is officially the worst state to rent in the United States. It is cheaper to rent an apartment in Long Beach, California than it is in Central Florida. Florida's economy is primarily a service-based economy. Out there, you cannot find good work unless you work for Disney or the theme parks, work in hospitality, or the healthcare system. And the healthcare system is horrible in Florida. Nurses can barely make $40,000 in Central Florida. The average rent in Florida is $1,600 an hour. And while that may not seem like a lot, when you compare it to Florida's minimum wage of $12 to $13 an hour, you are not going to get far. 37% of your earnings are gonna go towards rent. That is literally almost half of what you are getting paid. Compare that to a state like California, where the minimum wage is higher and jobs pay more for your labor. You are going to have a better chance of surviving. Hell, Bloomberg articles even said that New York City is cheaper to rent than in Miami. Bloomberg is like the most capitalist news article you will ever read. And if they're saying that New York is cheaper, there's a problem. But that's not the point. The point is, Florida sucks. Florida's been sucking, and that's what I've been trying to tell people this whole time. Nobody listened to me, but now I feel validated.
Damn! I thought it was just Miami that was expensive. I thought everywhere else in Florida was like rural and, kind of like a dream. You know what I'm saying? Get you a palm tree, couple coconuts. You good. Vacation. Disney World. What I thought. And this next clip is gonna double down on about how it's not cheap. Let's look at it.
You're considering a move to Florida, and Florida is not cheap. I need you to understand that. It might be less expensive than where you're coming from, but it's not cheap. This is super important. And number one thing you need to think about when you're making your move to Florida is your lifestyle. How do you want your life to look? Do you want to play golf every day? Do you want to have access to golf? Do you want to play pickleball, tennis, bocce, basketball? Do you want all the activities? Do you want to drive a golf cart everywhere you go and not really ever get in your car? Do you want to walk to the beach? Do you want a walkable downtown? Do you want to be 15, 20 minutes from the beach? Do you want no beach access at all? You want to be inland because you feel safer from hurricanes. I have been here since 1997. Not an expert, but I sure have a good handle on what goes on. And hurricanes are no joke, but we've learned how to prepare. There have been devastating hurricanes, all different places in the state. The West Coast was getting hit a little bit harder the last few years, and the East Coast has gotten hit. We get them. When you've been here long enough, you don't start to panic unless the Waffle House closes. Then we know it's serious. On Wednesdays, I conduct webinars. My name's Mulaney Gunning. I'm a real estate agent in Stuart, Florida, which is along Florida's Treasure Coast, which is that Vero Sebastian area, all the way down to the Jupiter Tequesta area, everything in between and all around. We talk about lifestyle. Then we talk about weather. What kind of weather do you want? Do you want seasons at all? Because I don't. I live in South Florida in the subtropical climate, and I don't really get much for winter. I get a day or two at a time. That's how I like it. I don't want to deal with cold on any level. We talk about property taxes, what to expect once you purchase your home. There's going to be a big adjustment period your second year. Our taxes are paid in the arrears. So you're really not going to feel the tax burden hit until year two. We talk about homeowners insurance. Is homeowners insurance as unaffordable as everybody likes to squawk about online? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. We talk about condos. We talk about HOAs. We talk about CDD fees. And what the heck is a CDD fee? When do you pay it? Is it worth a community that has a CDD fee? We talk about registration fees, impact fees for your cars and what to expect. We even mention the pew-pew laws and what that's all about. On Wednesdays, we do the webinars. And we talk about what might be a next step, which would be a moving consultation. If you want the link to register, absolutely free. They're on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. You'll get a calendar link and you'll be able to choose what webinar you want to attend based on availability. Comment, register.
This economy is so fucked up because tell me how applying for work, they only want to pay between $15 and $17 an hour. How can somebody survive off of that? And I'm in Florida. Like, I'm between Tampa and Orlando. And I'm from Fort Lauderdale. But the cost of living is so high, but yet you expect people to be able to survive off of that. I don't understand, especially like if you're a single person with no children, barely any bills, like no car note, none of that. Yes, I can understand. But what about the people that have families? They have, you know, I don't get it. And then why every job you apply for, they want to know your sex, your race, if you're straight. What does it matter? Just look at my resume. I either qualify or I don't. And call me back. What does it matter, my color or anything like that? Like, I don't know. I don't get it. And I don't know.
You know what's in fucking sane? 10 years ago, a standard 1-bedroom apartment was $1,000. Why is a 1-bedroom $1,800 for the bare minimum in a decent location?
I ain't gonna lie, $1,800 for 1 bedroom is ridiculous.
South Florida has hit its newest milestone, but not for a positive reason, or not one that you would think. The cost of living in the area has surpassed other major U.S. cities, including New York. A new Bloomberg report shows consumer prices have risen 39% since 2019, while home prices in Miami went up 79% since the pandemic. South Florida's cost of living now stands at second place, while the San Francisco Bay Area claims a top spot.
Who is Bloomberg and why is he an authoritative figure? I ain't hating on you, Bloomberg. I just want to know. But if y'all on that list and it's getting crazy, and this guy this next couple saying the people that's making stuff run in the community can't even afford to live in the community. Come on, Florida. Come on.
Think about the people who really keep our communities running. Teachers, nurses, police officers, firefighters, small business employees, young professionals starting their careers. They're working full-time doing everything they're supposed to do and still wondering whether they'll ever be able to afford to live here. That's not a personal failure. That's a policy failure. Because too many people are now weighing the cost of living in Florida today and the cost of leaving. Housing is a big part of that conversation, but it isn't just about buildings. It's about whether the people who make Florida work can actually afford to stay here. It's about affordable rent and affordable home ownership. It's about relief from rising insurance costs and property tax fairness. This isn't a problem we can ignore any longer. It's time for the state to do more to find solutions and not leave it to others. I'm Todd Delmay, the Democratic nominee for Florida House District 101, and I'm ready to fight for the hardworking Floridians who deserve a place to call home that they can afford.
So I have some big news that I wanted to share with everybody. And a few of you guys have predicted this in my comments, but we are leaving Florida. This is something we decided a couple months ago, has risen drastically since we moved here in 2020. And the price we are paying to live in Florida is just not worth what Florida has to offer to us. With inflation, the looming recession, and housing prices about to drop, selling our home right now is the smartest financial option for us. There are certainly other reasons that we have decided to leave Florida, but in this video, I'm just going to talk about our financial reasons for leaving Florida. So we are trying to get our house finished and on the market as soon as possible. Our goal is to get it on the market next month. We end up profiting on our house in future videos. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you don't miss those videos if you're interested in following along.
I seriously think that South Florida has become the most unaffordable place to live in America. And here is the proof, guys. The numbers are way worse than most people realize. The cost of living here in South Florida now exceeds New York City. New York City, guys. Housing expenses here are nearly 5% higher than in New York. That's insane when you think about what you're actually getting here in Florida. In New York City, you're paying to be in one of the most important cities in the world. But here in South Florida, you're paying the same exact price for a generic apartment in a sprawling suburb with no real public transit to get around anywhere. That means you need to pay for a car, for gasoline, for auto insurance. That's another $1,000 a month just to get around that you don't have to pay in New York. And it's not just Miami proper. Even the outer areas that used to be affordable have skyrocketed in price. Places that were considered budget options just 5 years ago now cost thousands of dollars just to get yourself a basic 2-bedroom apartment. So now, nearly half of all Floridians have considered leaving the state altogether. And the main reason is housing costs. People are being priced out of the area that they grew up in. They're doubling up family members in the same single-family home. They're putting off having kids because they can't afford the extra space. You simply can't save money when your rent eats up every single penny you ever earn. You can't invest in your future when you're stuck just trying to survive month to month. I'm sorry to say, but South Florida has become a place where only the wealthy can build for themselves a stable life. And everybody else, they're just treading water.
So basically, if you ain't rich, you gotta go. My next brother in the next clip with some smooth skin, and they got a smooth head. He gonna tell you what's going on in the housing market. I'm gonna let him talk to you.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. If you want to know how bad the housing market is, there's 15 million empty homes in America on the market. Now, this has been put out by Lending Tree, and they should know they're a huge mortgage lender. But 15 million homes are empty. And guess what state has the most empty homes? That would be none other than the state of Florida with 1.5 million. 10% of those homes across the United States that are empty are in Florida. And if you live in the Cape Coral, Fort Myers area, good luck on selling a home because almost 40% of the homes there are empty. Now, this is a report coming out from Lending Tree. Sales are not happening across the country the way they were just a few years ago, and it's got something to do with the high interest rates and people overpricing their homes. But if you live in Florida, you've got 1.5 million empty homes for sale, and if you're putting your home on the market, you're going up against those houses. So the housing market is not improving at all. Cash buyers have a great day every day when they're buying homes, but if you're trying to finance a home here in America, go to Florida. The prices should be diving with 1.5 million homes on the market. Interesting report.
Hello, I'm on my lunch break. So what I do on my lunch break is watch TikToks because what the fuck else am I gonna do? So I just saw a TikTok of a girl who found a pamphlet of apartment prices that her mom was helping her uncle find or whatever it was, and a 1-1 for a year was $495. I'm in the process of trying to find an apartment. Like, why? I make teaching fucking salary, and I'm an actor, the lowest paying fucking salaries in the world. And you know how hard it is to find an apartment? And then they're like, hey, that was base rent. You have to pay the water and the electricity and trash and air. The total is $2,500 a month. god, Florida just surpassed New York in the highest fucking paying goddamn rent in America.
As someone who is from Florida and ended up in Chicago, I do get asked the question a lot, like, how could you ever move away from South Florida? And I'm sure that a lot of young professionals who are from South Florida know exactly what I'm going to say. But compared to the cost of living, the salaries just are not there. I have friends who are having a hard time finding good jobs in healthcare. It has become so expensive to live in South Florida. I have a lot of friends that are moving to Chicago, New York, Boston, etc., etc. And I love where I'm from. I love being from Broward. But I had the opportunity at 22 to make 6 figures, and that was not happening to me in South Florida. So I chose to move. And in an ideal world, I'll build up my career and be able to move back home. But until then, I'll enjoy Chicago or wherever I want to live. Better yet, wherever the money is. Hello?
That's crazy, because I know somebody who drives trucks and he lives in Florida, and it's like he do food service, so it's good, you know what I'm saying? So, but they say a lot of them trucking jobs in Florida ain't nothing. It's pennies, peanuts. They say because Florida is hanging off, like it's not too much around it. You know what I'm saying? You got the Florida, because y'all know Florida got that, it's hanging. You know what I'm saying? You got all the other states over here. You know, Texas, where I'm at least we got Texas that we kind of can go where we want to go. Why is the cereal up there? I don't know why. Who put? Okay, but let's see the here nor there. I don't know who the hell he kid. Hey, I'm finna send them to Florida. Okay, but look, man, it's y'all got y'all way over here, and as far as trucking and I guess it's hard for y'all to get y'all logistics going on out there too. You got you way you're hanging off the map, man. You damn near a different country because you know, but that's what they say. They say because it ain't that much opportunity out there. They say, I don't know if that's California or Florida. They say that state gonna fly away. Okay, it's gonna sink away. Let's get into the dash clip, man.
Hey, I was traveling today from South Florida to North Florida, and I have a gas prices rant because the gas prices on the turnpike are higher than the gas prices off the turnpike. That has never been that way, and we all need to complain to Governor DeSantis because that is not how it used to be. Used to be you would actually go on the turnpike sometimes to get gas because they had such a good price. If you could, if it was close enough, you would actually pay the extra few cents to go onto the turnpike, pay for the gas, and now it's like 15 cents more. Why? That makes me so mad. I literally drove by so many, I'm like, it was making me mad. Anyway, can we all just make this go viral? Get pissed off at DeSantis for not subsidizing? Thank you. Bye.
If you're moving to Florida expecting it to be just a way lower cost of living than the Northeast, I think you need to pause your thinking for just a little bit. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things that are cheaper. Housing's definitely more affordable down here, but it's not going to be something where you're going to pay $1,000 in taxes down here versus $16,000 in property taxes up there.
Man, that man in the next clip talking about in December, his electric bill was egregious. How does it in Florida, bro? I know it's hot in December. Why is it up? Unless he had the heat running. But I'm going to let him tell y'all the story. Let's look at it.
I cannot afford Florida anymore. I just looked at my budget and my electric bill for December, which in Florida, mind you, we don't use the AC very much when it comes to December, okay? My electric bill for this December was more expensive than my electric bill from August of 2020, one of the hottest months of the year. Make that make sense. I used way less electricity in December than I do in August of any given year, and somehow my bill is now higher. My electric bills have more than doubled in the course of 5 years. And also, my water bill has more than doubled. And not to mention the rates of my insurance, property taxes, yada, yada, yada. It's all just gone up and up and up. I thought homeownership was supposed to be the cure-all solution. You buy a property, you pay it off one day, and then you are just fancy living, here we come. But apparently, that's not the case, as I know many homeowners who bought in Florida who are being priced out, and they have like the neighborhood fees or the association fees. Those have gone up rampantly without any sort of guardrails, and people who bought houses are just being priced out because of that alone. Luckily, I don't have those, but even I'm still feeling the squeeze with everything going up in the budget, so I'm selling. I can't afford it. And to those saying renting's not much better, I don't know, like at least you have the mobility to leave. I guess. You know what I mean? The most frustrating thing to me is that we were all just promised this one thing when we all went to college to get the degree and we saved up all the money to make the down payment on the house, and that has not panned out. I'm not like some financial expert. I'm just some guy who just knows that his bills have gone up astronomically, and my baseline number for cost of living per month, even before groceries or like buying clothes, I know from firsthand lived experience that this situation here does not work for me financially. And when the only answer you can get as to why did my bills double in 5 years is just because, that doesn't really give me any comfort that it's gonna get better anytime soon. So I'm tapping out now while I still can, because I'm getting priced out of existence here in Florida. And that's that.
Florida. The state of Grand Theft Auto 6, man. I think that's why y'all state is so high, because Grand Theft Auto 6 is making a game over there. That gotta be the only reason why. I don't know what's going on with y'all. Man, Florida, I always hear about Florida, just like I always say, being crazy, alligators, and just somebody mowing the yard in their underwear. That's what I always hear. If y'all stay in Florida and y'all regret living in Florida, or y'all know it's expensive, let me know. Because I really want to know. I ain't never been to Florida. I ain't never been to Orlando. I ain't never been to nowhere over there. So, and if y'all want to see more just general regret about people moving to Florida, click here. Again, it's been Josh from Talk to Him What, and I'm out.